everyone, welcome back to Kevin Reviews. Um, as you click on the title, I am going to be reviewing Silent Hill. This is a 2006 film that's based off the popular survival horror video game of the same name, Silent Hill. Um, and this is directed by Christopher Gantz. I have to look at my screen. I apologize. Roger Avery, and written by Roger Avery. The cast includes Rhoda Mitchell, Laurie Holden, Sean Bean, Jodelle Furlan, and Alice Kriege. Um, there's Dottie. Uh, so I got my game over shirt. Figured since I'm reviewing a movie based on a video game that I review, put this on. And so, just so you know, I never actually played a lot of the Silent Hill games except for one, which is Silent Hill Downpour. Um, and I, I think at that time, before I got this game, I was interested in playing any of the Silent Hill games, and I didn't know which one to get. And at the time, Silent Hill Downpour was out, and despite it getting a lot of bad reviews, um, I went ahead and got it because the other reviews were like either not as good either. I don't know. Otherwise, I didn't know exactly what to you know which was the best one to get. So I just kind of went with the more recent version. And if you're curious to know about my thoughts on Silent Hill Downpour, I remember liking it okay. Um, it had good moments, good atmosphere, but I mean, obviously the gameplay and the way in a way to get like some of the endings are not great. And then the frame rate was absolutely atrocious. But it doesn't technically mean it's not unplayable. It's just really annoying. Um, so, but in terms of my knowledge, I don't know a ton about Silent Hill. That was the main thing I don't know a ton about, like the lore behind Silent Hill. It just seemed like like a certain dimension or something, or abandoned town that there's no rhyme or reason why it's abandoned. It kind of looks normal, except ashes are falling from the sky, and and apparently it dissolves for a bit to this like hellish type world, and then comes back. I remember there's talk about Pyramid Head in it, which is a popular video game bad guy overall. But and in terms of, I did actually had to look up a little bit on the idea of where Silent Hill came from, and it actually came from a real life ghost town, Centrale, Pennsylvania. And yes, I had to look on my screen for that one, and where it was a mining town until a fire, uh, but it was based on like a coal mine, and fire got started and underneath the town, and it kept burning and burning um, stuff, and it's still burning to this day. But when it was burning, all kinds of you know other fires, gases and stuff like that, the town evacuated. So now it's a ghost town, and that's where the inspiration for Silent Hill came from. Um, whether or not the movie follows the games accurately, I have absolutely no idea. And for all I can say is this might be short a review overall, because like I said, I don't have a ton of knowledge of the games, other than what I played with Silent Hill Downpour. So just keep that in mind. In terms of what I remember, I because this was a video game movie. Video game movies often get a bad rap. Often bad. They're not well understood, or they're just cheaply made, or like the original Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, um, or uh, any of the Uwe Boll movies, House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, those type of video games movies that did very poorly. So, and from my understanding, this kind of did, but I'm not. I think this kind of did because critics didn't seem to like it, but I think over time fans started to like it a little bit more, and it's become a kind of become a cult classic. And I remember when I saw this, I think during in my like late early 2010s. Um, I think I remember liking it fine, though it's not like the one I watch all the time, but I can appreciate certain things. And well, here's my review of 2006's Silent Hill. So Silent Hill actually starts pretty quickly, involving a girl named Sharon, played by Jodelle Ferlin, who is having these sleepwalking episodes, and her mother, Rose De Silva, played by Rhoda Mitchell, and her husband, yeah, I have to look, Christopher De Silva, played by Sean Bean, are noticing that every time she's kind of coming out of her sleepwalking episodes, that she says Silent Hill. So they had to do research and find out who Silent Hill is, and Rose has to take her daughter to Silent Hill to find out what's going on, what's making these sleepwalking episodes happen for Sharon. So she gets to Silent Hill, but then she ends up in an accident, and then she wakes up in basically Silent Hill. But it's foggy, it's gray, there's ash falling from the sky. So there's something really strange going on in the town of this town, this ghost town of Silent Hill that isn't exactly a ghost town. So, and that's as far as I'll go for Silent Hill. I will say I think I appreciate this movie in certain areas, but it's not one I would see often. I don't think it's really quite like scary per se. Um, but you know, I think the point was I think what the main idea was. I mean, because you got to have characters, you got to have writing, but I think that kind of falls by the wayside because it's more focused on emulating, like not emulating, but recreating Silent Hill in a live action format. And I will say, it is done very well. Even if the CGI does not hold up because this is 2006, it's still impressive what they did to create the town and this other world that looks like it's hell or something. The creatures you see are pretty unique. Pyramid Head, especially, is pretty unique and iconic for many Silent Hill fans, including. I think there's also the faceless nurses. I think those are in there too. But yeah, you get to see these kind of creatures as the more you go, the more um, Rose explores this town because I forgot to mention in my synopsis that she's looking for her daughter because apparently when after she wakes up from the car wreck, she has to go find her daughter. Um, and then of course there's other characters in there, including a cop who ends up in Silent Hill, Sybil, played by Laurie Holden. Um, so there's a lot of characters in this. There is plenty of characters. There's a lot more I could say about it, but I don't know. I almost feel like you kind of want to go in blind, even if you're a newcomer to Silent Hill. So I don't know. It's like I want to say stuff because it's for Silent Hill fans, but at the same time I don't want to say anything because I think in a way that's the best way to experience something like this particular film. Um, but it's not perfect. I think the story does get lost or a bit convoluted at points, especially in the supernatural sense. And granted, I mean, supernatural stuff shouldn't always make sense, but I don't know. I think and there are certain areas that it does make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I just I don't know. I think it just like tries to find a way to keep the plot going. Now, whether the story is actually part of the game, any of the games, I do not know. So I forgive me if I miss any certain details or facts. I think in terms of the characters, they're fine. Um, yeah, and Rhoda Mitchell, I think, does a fine job and knows when to act at times. But other times she's kind of restrained. It just seems like she's mostly doing it for the paycheck. But she knows, but she, she kind of like at times will act her heart out well enough, but not hard enough to just kind of go with it. We'll go with it. Sean Bean is always loves Sean Bean. He's probably the one actor who often dies in a lot of films, but in this one he doesn't actually. Well, probably spoiler there, but quite surprise, surprise, he doesn't die. Um, but frankly, his character, he's supposed to be this father who's really worried about the daughter and his wife going to Silent Hill and stuff, and he's the one that does most of the research. He's kind of the one who we even followed because so to get an idea of what Silent Hill, the town of Silent Hill is. Um, but um, he's just kind of average, just kind of there. Sybil, the cop that happens to be in Silent Hill, is also all right. I think most of the actors and actresses are all right. The girl who plays Sharon, Jodie Ferland. Seen in her like one film. I think there was called Case 39, where she played a pretty creepy girl. And I will admit, even in this film, excuse me, she does pull the creepiness off well, even when she's not supposed to be creepy. So it's kind of strange. She does it so well. I can almost see her like playing Samara in the Ring in a way. I maybe she did. I don't remember. Um, it's been a long time since I've seen The Ring. Um, so, um, but I think, and for the most part, I think the story and characters just kind of fall in the back and just let you embrace the atmosphere of what Silent Hill is all about. But it does at least try to keep you invested into the story, which it is kind of interesting, and there are factors and moments that hints and clues that kind of keep things together and get you an idea of what the town is like. The town was before and what and how it connects to where Rose and Sybil and Sharon are at, like what's going on with this town, and so I think those are the strong points. Hi, Tally. So, and the production wise, like I said, the production wise is really good. It's you really do feel the atmosphere in what this film does. But like I said, if you're, I think if maybe not like I said, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But I think it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's really faithful to the games, which again I don't know a ton, I think this does it well production wise and overall. Not so much characters. The characters are just kind of there, just doing their best with what the script is given. Um, you know, I th- I think it's just doing its part to basically be the town of Silent Hill, and it does it very well, even if it's the graphics don't hold up. So I think um, I'm kind of conflicted because I kind of want to give this, I don't know, it's 2.5, 3 stars. I think I'll round it up to three because I really do appreciate what this film did. It's one of the few video game movies that I would recommend for even if you're not a Silent Hill fan, everybody you're a horror fan because I think you will enjoy it. It's not exactly scary, but it is pretty bloody and gory at times, and that's what I think the games did best. I'm not sure. So But yeah, that's what I think I'll give it 3 stars, maybe 2.5, but I'll go with three. Just so kind of like in the middle, but just so you, but 2.5, 3 stars. 3 stars, I think I'll go with. Um, but yeah, what are your thoughts on Silent Hill, 2006's Silent Hill? Leave in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and like or dislike the review, and I will see you guys in the next review.